Thank you. I've really been looking forward to this evening. I have discovered not only warmth, but it's provoked me to discover in my own evolution that which began in the 60s, which was a sincere search for a hurting world, led us ethically, thankfully, because of a lot of what folk music has suggested for so many years, to find a community that perhaps doesn't have national or international boundaries, but a community of the heart. That's a difficult thing somehow to all agree on, and part of what we'll be listening to tonight is this balladier's attempt to thread a lot of subject material, some of it political, some of it personal, some of it spiritual, into a dialogue that seems maybe time to time to express exactly what it was you were feeling. Let's hope that happens. Meanings will change as you learn to grow, and that which you know becomes suddenly old, and that which you have to last you till the end turns out to be just a passing friend. And would you spend your life away collecting great treasures so you'd be safe someday? And when you're old and when you're gray, change. Life's just that way. When you're finally sure, you think you understand all about living and life's demands, someone will touch you and you'll see again. Meanings will change. You just can't win. So don't you worry about your money, friend. Or don't you worry about your fame. It's all a conspiracy, all part of a game, and you're the conspirator, the silent enemy, and you're the victim. You finally see after you get to where you have to be, and after you own everything you see, when meanings don't change about the things you knew, you might as well die. It's all over for you. So if you're wise and if you know what few things are real, and make you a start with a simple life and a simple heart. Thank you. Although it probably won't come out in the dialogue too much, I really took those words to heart in 1970. But I was telling somebody the other day, I had a birthday a couple of weeks ago, and the bad news was I was diagnosed with dyslexia, but the good news is I'm only 27. Inch by inch and row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. And inch by inch and row by row, will someone bless these seeds I sow? Someone warm them from below till the rain come tumbling down. We're pulling weeds, picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. I feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, I'll find my way in nature's chain. I'll tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. And this is where it becomes a folk concert, 'cause you sing inch by inch and row by row. Gonna make this garden, gonna make this. All it takes is a rake and hoe. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile. Inch by inch by inch by inch and row by row. Someone bless these seeds. Someone warm them from below. Someone warm them from below till the rain come tumbling down. So plant your rows straight and long and temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth can keep you strong if you give her love and care. An old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Okay, let's sing it a cappella and sweetly now. Here we go. And inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this. All it takes is a rake and hoe, and all it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch by inch by inch and row by row. Someone bless these seeds. Someone warm them from below till the rain come tumbling. Inch by inch and row by row. Someone bless these. Someone warm them from below, and someone warm them from below till the rain come tumbling down. A guy by the name of Zane Williams. always reminds me of how insignificant my worries are in the big picture. It's always the little things that seem to get me when life isn't fair and nothing goes right. I take it out on the people who love me. It's easy to do when you lose sight of the big picture. In the big picture, I see it all so clear, what I should do with my life while I'm here. Love all my family and friends while I can, and reach out to my fellow man. Well, I believe it's the truth that we all have inside us, tested and tried by those come before. Ask any wise man, he'll surely tell you. Money or love, which matters more in the big picture? In the big picture, I see where we really are, on an oasis in an ocean of stars, sharing our fears and our hopes and our dreams, more alike than it sometimes may seem. Lying awake in front of this beautiful sunrise, feeling the light where it touches my face, I let myself imagine forever and hope that someday I'll find my place in the big picture. 'Cause in the big picture I see it all so clear, what we could do with our time while we're here, and the more walls that crumble in the name of love, the better we'll see the beauty of the big picture. One flame, many candles, one sky, many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love, and so many hearts. We live in the same house on different floors, and I got my window and you got yours. We each have a door that leads to the hall, but the rooms are so cozy and the door is so small. One life, many dreamers, one death, many tears, one word, many meanings, one hope for so I'm in the last chapter, not sure what's in store, but I'm betting it ends with a knock on the door. One light, many candles, one sky, many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love, and so many hearts. Love is revealed at the speed of light. You don't need to be a scientist to know that's right. Love is here today, tonight. Love rules. You might be young, you could be old. Everybody needs a hand to hold. Somehow we know before we're told. Love rules. Love's a beggar, but not a thief. Steals no hearts and it brings no grief. Just waits patiently for relief. Love has many hearts and hands, and the ones who seem to understand are taking steps, not making plans. Love rules. And just like them, I'm trying to be a student of transparency. More of love and less of me. Love rules. 'Cause every time I turn away from what love has to say, I burn a bridge, I build a fence, I lose another piece of innocence. Ooh, dust to dust, we humankind watch stars explode and the suns come shine. But love's gonna watch the end of time. Love rules. And when we're gone in our graves, buried by the things we've saved, love will remember what you gave. Love rules. Oh yeah. Love is gentle. Love is kind. Love forgives, but it is not blind. Love is what we were born to find. Love rules. Love rules. Love rules. And just in case you miss the point, love rules. To the heart of every man, every woman, every child in every land, there comes a time selfish plans and sacrifice our pride, reveal the fear inside, and listen to the whisper of a voice that's been denied. And when we come into this perfect meeting place, where perfect truth abides with perfect grace, though once in darkness we've come face to face and understand the word spoken often, finally heard, and accept the gift that we've been given so that we may give in turn. Obedient servant, what you have done today, I will remember, though time itself has passed away, has passed twinkling of an eye, we live our lives and then we die. And only love will ever show us why. And justify the loss of death's apparent cost by filling us with the spirit of a life beyond the cross. Obedient servant, what you have done today, I will remember, though time itself has passed away. You've been so patient, and I know what many of you are waiting for. So, without further ado, give me an O, preferably in tune. Oh, oh, and now the high one. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Wow, little Jackie Beaver, he loved that rascal Puff, and he brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. I see among you many who cannot believe that they actually remember the lyrics to this. And they are sitting with people who equally can't believe you're actually going to sing this song. But it is timeless, and it has nothing to do with drugs. Never did, but some people needed a scapegoat. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail, and Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whenever they came. Come on, Mark. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Give me an O like a pirate would. Okay, never mind. Not an O, a consonant. Let's see, what could that be? R. Give me an R. Ah, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Italy. You do one now. Now a dragon lives forever, but not. And girls in wings and giants' rings make way for other toys. And one gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more. And Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain, and Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. But did he stay there? No. Especially if he's greeted with an appropriate, maybe some stacked harmony. When he gets richer and I hear the rustling of the scales now. Puff, the magic. Well, what have we here? 400 little jaggy papers. Want to go for a ride on my tail? Ho, ho, ho! Puff, the magic dragon, still lives by the sea and frolics in the autumn mist in a land called Italy. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Woo. Well, I'm quite aware that we have a long history together. I got to thinking about how unique each of you are. I try to find you when I'm singing. I sometimes will just sing a word to you, or I'll see you smile and I'll say, oh, that's a good person I should come back to sing or to say this particular word or that particular phrase. And that uniqueness that you have and are carrying into the world is making up such a gorgeous jewel. If you think about each of us as a facet of a jewel, I mean, you know, we each have, pun intended, our own inclination. And here we are in this billion-faceted jewel called the world. And so this is a song that talks about the oddity of the way that we relate one to each other. Well, our lives are connected like facets of a jewel, the reluctance of a wise man and the wisdom of a fool. They border on each other, sometimes kind, sometimes cruel. Yes, our lives are connected like patches on a quilt, sewn by coincidence, some borders edged in guilt. And though every choice we make creates a different pattern, still our lives are connected. And who's to say the universe sometimes with a roar. Sometimes we think we leave no trace, but sometimes less is more. Our lives are connected like pages in a book. The past is the present through which the future looks, like leaves on a river, like ripples in a brook. Our lives are connected. Our lives are connected. Our lives are connected. Be real. Stand up and tell us how you feel. There are no secrets to conceal anymore. You can open the door and be real. Ooh, be true. You know exactly what to do. Listen to that voice inside of you getting stronger. Won't be much longer, be true. And be real. Be free. Take this perfect opportunity. Open every lock, you've got the key in your heart. It's a good place to start being free. Watch out now, I got Jeepers Creepers. Be real, be free, be true, and be now. Even though you don't know exactly how. Remember, love will allow you at last to let go of the past and be now. Be real, be free, be true, and be you. Yeah, that's the most important part. You got to be you.
I dreamed of an Ivy League education, then medical school. But family issues made it difficult. Instead, I enrolled at St. Petersburg College to study nursing. But you know what? It's been the best decision I've ever made. St. Petersburg College has top-notch professors, small classes, and affordable tuition. And nursing will give me a chance to see how to really care for people. SPC has helped me turn my dream into reality.
St. Petersburg College, no limits.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, let's get into the conversation part of this evening's festivities, and thanks for sticking around. It doesn't look like anybody left. In fact, it looks like there's more of you. Now,
Came down from the balcony. Right?
all right, first question is from Pat. What was your first gig in Greenwich Village?
Well, what was my official title? I was working with a photographic chemical company, and I was playing chess at a club called the Black Fat Pussycat. It sounds like a strip joint, doesn't it? But I went to after a couple of months, I went to the table that we usually go to play, and like they say in French Canada, there she was, gone. They were building a stage there, and I said, "Oh, what's going on?" They said, "Well, we're going to have entertainment here," and I said, "Oh, that's what do I have to do to be part of the entertainment?" They said, "Come and audition." So that was the first gig was there, and
that was solo.
Oh yeah, so low that it was barely visible. Yeah, it was solo, but I think because I did so much of master ceremonies work in high school and college, and they just didn't have that kind of person in the village at that time. Most of them were beatnik poets or folk singers or comedians.
This next question is from the guy who won these tickets this morning on the morning show. He wants to know what types and styles of guitars you prefer, and has your preference changed over the years?
I learned on an electric guitar in high school. I had a group called the Birds of Paradise are here to say hello to the only way they know to is with a song. And I think a lot of people here, as a matter of fact, when you get home, if you got inspired tonight, many of you will go home and open your closets, and you'll find underneath all those boxes, way back in the corner, a cardboard case. And when you open it up, there'll be one of these in there with a book in it that says how to play guitar. Right? And if it was an electric guitar, it's very easy to hold down the frets. But for those of you that bought a Silvertone or some really cheap guitar because you didn't want to invest, obviously, in a really good guitar if you weren't going to keep up the lessons, I mean, what's the sense of that? So you open up the book. It's been a long time, and your spouse or your significant other saying, well, you're not really going to try to play that. Oh, yeah, it'll come back. And you open up the book and it says, the E chord. Okay, press your fingers similar to the dots on the diagram. Okay, press firmly. One more time. I am pressing firmly. But finally, a couple of minutes, it comes back. The A chord. Page 3. A song containing the E chord and the A chord. Anyway, you get the idea.
This one segues right out of that. Justin wants to know what advice you would give to a 14-year-old about becoming a musician.
Wow. Well, certainly there's many steps along the way. The first step is, do you want to be a musician? If you just like the way it looks, then that's a hard road. If you can't help yourself because you love music and you just have to be with it all the time, that's the first major step. Then you just find yourself trying to solve little puzzles, little tiny incremental puzzles in your musical life. Why doesn't this chord fit behind this note that I'm singing? Oh, well, maybe if I add this note. I think I just invented a chord. And so the development of the musician is a very personal thing. If you're talking about how do I arrive at a point where I can actually depend on having an audience in front of me, start with your parents. Then start with your group, whatever it is, the hangout group, and push the envelope and build your constituency. Granted, the internet makes it very quick and a different kind of constituency, because if you write songs about tsetse flies, there'll be a niche market for you on the internet, you know. And that's a very odd thing. We never had that opportunity when I was growing up. But learn to perform for your constituency, because if your friends will give you honest feedback, honestly, or they won't be your friends for long. I'm talking about real friends. I'm not talking about bogus folks. You say, oh, it's just wonderful. I'm talking about people that say, boy, do you suck. Or, I really like that song, but I didn't like this song. And little by little, you put together a career. Then you can take that career based on the confidence that you've established from the people who care for you and have listened closely to what you do, and go out into the world with it.
Very nice. Here's a song request. Is Sebastian here tonight? And would you consider singing that?
I might be able to. No, Sebastian is not here. Sebastian is a 12-string guitar, and I attended a function with Gordon Bach, who I think is coming to the area soon, if you're familiar with folk music. He had a party called a rinktum, which sounds more like a body part than it does, a party. But and it was a bunch of people sitting around in a circle, and he played a 12-string guitar, really odd-shaped guitar, looked like a bouzouki, but a wonderful, wonderful tone. And I turned to the guy and to me, and I said, wow, where did he get that guitar? And the guy said, I built it for him. And I said, really? Is it for, do you do this for a living? And he said, yeah. And I said, would you build me one? And he said, sure. And I totally forgot about it. And about maybe 6 months later, there's this big box sitting in the hallway from UPS. I figured it was for Betty. My wife usually gets most of the packages in the house. And I went over and I looked at it again, and I realized it was the guitar. And it was like, I was like a kid. And I took it down to the basement. I opened it up, and underneath all this newspaper was this guitar with an envelope stuck in it that said, read before playing, which was a very clever place to put it, because you couldn't really get at the strings without taking the envelope out. So I took it out, and it said, and I can almost quote it, "This is Sebastian, the youngest and brightest of my children. Treat him with love and care, for that is how he came to be built." I picked up the guitar. Now this is I don't know if this is a testimony for UPS or cosmic intervention, but I picked up the guitar, laid my fingers on the strings for the first time, and it was in tune. And so I wrote, Sebastian arrived in a cardboard suitcase, sealed with a kiss from his mom, with a newspaper under his arm and over his head. Alone in the hall with his back to the wall, you could see he was one of a few. He spoke only when spoken to, and sometimes alone in his bed. And then the chorus went, sing, sweet Sebastian, sing the sweetest song. Sing so sweet that while you sleep, your melody lingers on. And on the 12-string, it just sounds so rich and so full. Yeah. That's the story of Sebastian.
This next one's from Joe. How do you arrange your solo guitar stuff?
Well, you know, Peter and Mary and I got into the habit of arranging our parts by singing them in a heartfelt manner. I also take chances too. I think, you know, for whoever that 14-year-old guitar player or wannabe is in the house, just lay your hands down on it really doesn't matter if it sounds really great, but you'd be surprised what's up here. You know, I mean, like, well, it's not really a chord, unless maybe you didn't play all the strings, in which case. Now, what's that? I hear the sound of music. I hear the sound of music. I mean, you know, that's not a chord. If you tried to tell somebody how to play that, you couldn't. You just found it by accident. So much of what surrounds my music is by accident. A divine accident, but I mean, it works for me. And even more strangely, and I've never said this in front of an audience before, just between you and me, sometimes I'm drawn to an area of the guitar to lay my hands down, and I don't know any chords up there, and I'll have to shop around, but eventually it becomes like a hinge point for all of the songs that I'm playing. Yeah, I'm just really a lucky guy. What can I tell you? And I'm lucky to be here.
We're lucky to have you here.
Yeah.
Here's a good question from Tom. Wants to know, what's the strangest thing that ever happened to you on stage during a concert? Besides this.
Wow. Boy. Well, I'm trying to. I'm going into. I'm sure that I could recall one if I had a couple of more Heinekens. But I really can't. I can't. Aside from dealing with the usual problems like last night was a perfect example. We sang at Mount Dora, standing in front of the lake in 40-mile-an-hour winds. And it wasn't exactly a hot spell here last night, you know? And so I get up on stage and the spot comes up, right? And I sing the first song. I can't remember what it was, but I finished the first song, and then I expect the rest of the lights to come up. They didn't plug them in. So I did the entire first set with one spotlight, like a deer staring in your headlight. You know? There are a lot of opportunities. I would think that the strangest things, though, are off stage. You know, most of the theaters that musicians go to, God bless us all, said Tiny Tim, are the dressing rooms are just so dreadful. Now, that's not the case with this theater. This is a very nice little backstage area. But most times, what they give you out front is like that hotel that you went to in New York where the lobby's got all marble and everything. How do you do, sir? Please come in. And you sign, you go upstairs, and there's paints hanging down from the ceiling, and you're paying $310 for what?
All right, we'll combine these last two questions into one.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, and next Thursday.
Okay.
Getting ready.
Is there a current artist or group you feel has picked up the Peter, Paul, and Mary torch and carried it forward? And is there any possibility, I know you've done, you and Paul of... Peter, sorry. You're Paul.
You're Cam. I got that.
I know you've done some gigs with Judy Collins. Is there any possibility of some sort of new trio being formed?
No. No.
Okay.
Even when we took our vacation, and you would assume that whoever wanted to keep the trio going between 1970 and 1978, it wouldn't have been me, because I was the one that pretty much forced the vacation. But Peter and Mary just felt that it was such a unique circumstance, that we had such a unique relationship. They didn't want to find a substitute Paul. And I think Peter and I would never... I mean, the beautiful thing about folk music is you do your concert no matter what context, and if there's another folk artist there that was on the bill with you, they come out and they sing Day Is Done or, This Land Is Your Land with you. So the trio would be ad-lib if we... And it has been with Judy, and, it's even been a quartet when you add Tom Paxton and a lot of other Tom Chapin and other artists. So, and I would love to respond to the 14-year-old who obviously wanted to know, is there a contemporary group continuing in Peter, Paul, and Mary's footsteps? But frankly, I listen mostly to classical music. Folk music is so wordy, is so word-dense, that I find it really difficult to put on music with lyrics in the background. Because I'm like a moth, All I do is sit there and listen to the lyric, And what I'm trying to have is some space and time of my own. So I listen to Baroque music a lot, and Bach was not too wordy, This has just been great, Kim.
One last question.
Okay.
You got a couple more songs you'd do for us?
Thank you. We're going to go off, and they're going to set the mics, and we'll be right back.
I love to dance. I've done it since high school, where I was a good student and belonged to 3 honor societies. I started my freshman year at St. Petersburg College and worked part-time to save money. I really ended up liking SPC because of its small classes and the fact that my teachers know me by name. I've even been able to continue dancing, something I didn't think would be available to me here. At SPC, there really are no limits.
St. Petersburg College, no limits.
Thank you. Thank you. I know it's been a long night. I'm just going to do one more song. This is a song written, probably one of the latest songs. There's a warning in the wind that comes wailing through the trees, a depression in the shoreline left by the pounding seas. There is a lesson in the drought that brings a country to its knees in these times. We are dancing with disaster when we live beyond our needs and pretend our hungry souls are not related to our greed. Life's a journey, but it's not about the speed in these times. In these times, we must be mindful of the gift. In these times, use our hands and hearts to lift the fallen spirit in this land, planting flowers in the sand, reaching out a helping hand. In these times, as the perfect storm approaches and the gale around us roars, no longer can we close our eyes or hide behind our doors. Our choice is fewer now by what we've chosen to ignore in these times. The ship of state is drifted and it's getting hard to steer. It's a complicated issue, but the direction's pretty clear. And each of us is who we need to get to there from here in these times. In these times, we must be mindful of the gift. In these times, use our hands In everything that's living, there is a promise of love, planted in the seeds below and in the stars above. We must listen to its message, become faithful stewards of these times. Oh, in these times, we must be mindful of the gift. In these times, use our hands and hearts to lift the fallen spirit in this land, planting gardens in the sand, reaching out a helping hand. In these times, we must be mindful of the gift. In these times, use our hands and hearts to lift the fallen spirit in this land, planting flowers in the sand, reaching out a helping hand. In these times. Thank you all so much.